see. Okay, let me just make sure everything. Just see if you're out there, put something in the comments. Today is a crazy, crazy, crazy day, let me tell you. Let me make sure my necklace is. Have a couple of things to go over. Let me just pull up some stuff. And I know it's funny because, oh, hello everyone. It's been kind of a crazy day, and the day hasn't ended and the craziness has not ended as well. And I want to make sure, say hello if you are watching. Listen, I want to go over some of the COVID things, updates and stuff that have happened this week, but I also want to talk about a couple of things that I think have been slipping our minds. I'm just getting my notebook. I put it on the other side of the table. Have been slipping our mind. I think the majority of us, it's been slipping our minds since this pandemic. The pandemic has been mostly filling up our brain space, right? And I think we all can attest to that for sure. And some things have been falling by the wayside. So I want to just cover a couple of things. First, let's go over some of the COVID stuff. Let's see. COVID, according to our COVID tracker at the New York State Department of Health. Oh, and thank God my computer is back up. It's just, I don't know, I guess my Chrome had expired, whatever that means, and I had to renew everything, so it took me an hour to get that. So I just want to say some of the COVID numbers. In New York State, the total persons tested have been 1,298,757 people. Total tested since 5/13, 39,850. Though out of all of those tests, 343,051 people have tested positive. And the distribution across sex, female 48.2%, male 51.3%, and unknown 0.5%. And as of the 13th of May, 2,390 people, and this is all of New York State, have tested positive. And I do want to reiterate for those of you that are watching, please make sure, let me see, what is this? May 14th. Yeah, my people are putting up new stuff. I'm looking at the live website. But make sure that you share our COVID-19 page. We have mostly all of the resources throughout the district. And I say mostly because we go to the district, the different cities and towns and what have you in the district, and take their information off their website to put it in one space so that you can just scroll down and find it. It's not always easy to navigate some of these websites. They're smaller towns, so some of their websites are not so updated or user-friendly. For the most part, I don't think we had that issue with a lot of them, but some of them were not currently updated. So we did all of the frustration of navigating some of those not so user-friendly websites and put everything in one place on our page at teresaforsenate.com at our COVID-19 tab. So, and my team, they're watching, and I'm sure they're going to put that in our in the comments. Let me see. Yeah, they put as of Thursday the 14th the totals. So yeah. So according to our phased opening, I saw this. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this meme because I know the governor is trying to do what he thinks is best for all of us, which is a really tough job, right? And not everyone's going to be satisfied. But he's doing a phase where we are in the midst of opening, but by phases. And we have to meet certain criteria in order to open completely. And he listed just a few counties that were able to open. So Central New York has now met all 7 metrics to begin phase 1 of reopening on May 15th. And that May 15th. And that means they join the Mohawk Valley, the Southern Tier, Finger Lakes, and the North Country. Yay, North Country. I know you guys are always last to get help and resources. I know you guys are that last mile, and I know you were really happy that you were able to open successfully and safely sooner than most. Also, the governor is working on working to build a strong medical manufacturing supply chain in our state. We never, of course, we don't want to go back to, or ever in the future, meet with a pandemic and not be prepared for it, to not have enough beds, to not have enough medical equipment or personal protective equipment. We don't ever want to do that, go through that ever again. So, that being said, I think and I really hope, and once I'm elected senator, I will be pushing for this to make sure that there are no more cuts to Medicaid or health care, any type of health care, because we've had in the last 10 years, we had a reduction in funding to our hospitals, and we've had a reduction also in our bed capacity in hospitals, and meeting this pandemic with not enough beds obviously caught us by surprise, not surprise. So hopefully this initiative of building a stronger medical manufacturing supply chain actually works out well. And more hopefully, we will never have to go through a pandemic again. And I know that's wishful thinking because we are human and we tend to congregate and get into dense populations which breed disease. It's just the way of human nature, unfortunately, especially if we are currently living with domesticated animals, which also bring disease. New York State is investigating 102 cases of potentially COVID-related inflammatory illnesses in children. So as I listened and I read and I researched and I did all the stuff, and I said, it's really curious that we were so comfortable with the fact that this disease was not affecting children, but it was affecting elderly, our 2 most vulnerable populations, right? It affected the elderly, but not children. And I'm listening to the governor, and we're talking about, this is a COVID-related disease affecting children, Kawasaki's and all that. My son had that when he was younger, and toxic shock syndrome. And I'm like, how were we so comfortable with thinking that this disease that's killing millions, billions, that it would not affect our most vulnerable, our children? So I was trying to wrap my head around that and haven't come to a full conclusion as to what we were thinking. I'm just at the point right now, what were we thinking? So I really pray for the three young children who have died to this illness that we're not sure if it's caused by COVID or related to the disease. We're not sure about that, and I really hope that we find that out soon. 14 other states and 5 European countries have also reported cases. And I want to say, just briefly, I'm a little distracted because I had to hop on real quick and make sure that I was on time today, because yesterday with all the technology, but I'm also monitoring a situation that's going on with my oldest girl. This is something that, just to move away from COVID-19, but talking about young children, has me thinking about what I'm dealing with right now with my daughter, my oldest girl, who is 22, and she has my grandchild. And she just called me and FaceTimed me or message, whatever it's called, video chatting me. And I looked at her face and immediately I said, okay, what's wrong? What's going on? And she said, I just almost got kidnapped. And I said, what? She said, yeah, these two guys just were going to abduct me. And I'm thinking she probably was walking in and, just, took a situation out of proportion. And, now she's a little settled down in her car. She's feeling a little safer and she wants to talk to me so she can talk it out. No, this is what happened. My daughter was on her way to Walmart. And she's parked her car in the Walmart parking lot and was heading towards the door, and she noticed two big guys who had just walked up to their vehicle, and they were putting their things in the vehicle and then turned around, leaned back on their car, and began to watch her. I think she said, it looks like they had a cigarette in their hand. She said, and they just watched me walk across the parking lot, and they just kept staring at me. And so she said she looked at them like, what do you want? Like, what are you looking at? She has my attitude, so she was like, why are you staring at me? And she said they said something to her, but she couldn't hear or understand what they were saying, but she had a really bad feeling. So she's walking towards the door, and she turns, and she sees they're still staring at her, and then one nudges the guy and then goes like this to her in her direction. And so she goes inside, she sees this woman she says she always sees in Walmart, and the woman's name is Victoria. Thank you so much. She said, this is a really tall lady, Mommy, and I always see her. And I said to her, these guys were staring at me and I feel really weird and I don't know what's going on. And she said, okay, this is what we're here for. If you're feeling unsafe, let us know. And my daughter said, I'm going to get a couple of things. I'll be out real quick, but I don't feel comfortable walking to my vehicle by myself. And I'm just checking messages right now because my husband is going to get her from the store and drive. And drive behind her to make sure she's not followed. So she says that the woman said, I'm going to keep an eye on them. I see them. They are staring at you. It's really weird. They're just standing there staring. They're not doing anything. And she said, I'll keep an eye on them. If they're still here, me and another security office guy will go and we'll walk you to your vehicle. So she went, she got her things, and I'm very upset because I'm Mama Bear. And I always want to run to her rescue. She said that she got to the door, and the security woman said, they're still there. She said, and it's really odd because they're just standing there and staring. And she said, I'll walk with you. So my daughter's walking slightly ahead of the security woman, and the woman's just coming up behind her. And as she's walking towards her car, the gentlemen, not even gentlemen, these men, really big dudes, start to step forward from their vehicle as soon as they see my daughter leave the store, and started towards her, but then stepped back and went back and got quickly into their car because they saw the security woman walking with her. So, and it's funny because I just had this conversation with my girls about, because they're like, why can't we go to the store anytime we want? Why must our brother always be with us? Or why do we always have to go together? And if one doesn't want to go, too bad the other one's not going. Or I stand there and watch them, just to give them a little freedom. They have to have their phone ready, And it's always, this is women. As women, this is how we live, men, just in case you don't know. So we were speaking about why that is yet again. And I said, Schenectady has a high human trafficking rate. New York State itself has a high human trafficking rate. I've sat in on so many conversations, roundtables, these groups on how can we combat this. I've met with shelter or leaders, I should say, shelters for people who are victims of human trafficking. I've met with victims myself, and the stories are just so unbelievable. And just, you're like, this is surreal. This can't be happening. Human beings doing this to other human beings. So we were just talking about this the other day, why we need to be safe. And it's not just women, but it is mostly women who are trafficked. So my daughter was like, I'm shook. She said, I can't believe like this just almost happened. So I'm like, do you have this? Do you have that? Or, you know, put your keys in your hand. She says, Mother, I know, because they're well-informed children, and I know she's grown, but I thought she was going home. I said, are you not home yet? I'm actually going to another store because she wanted to pick up something for our younger sister whose birthday's coming up. She says, I have to get this gift for her. Young people, I tell you. And this, so she's going to give me gray hairs, and she's 22. She should have already done this. But I said, do not leave the next store that you're going to or by yourself. Have security walk with you. Instead, I said, let me call Dad, because Dad's out and about, and let me call Dad. And I said, do you want me to have Dad come meet you and then follow you home? And she said, yes, please. And mind you, she's me. She's my mini-me, my first mini-me. And she's usually like, I'm good. I'll do it myself. I don't need nobody, you know. And she was like, yes, please. So I knew then that for her, this was really, really serious. And she was just a little jumpy, and her phone was dying. And I said, get off the phone with me. I'm going to call Dad. And I said, I'm going to go live, but I want to make sure that you're okay. So I'm looking at my phone right now to make sure that everything is okay. So if you guys will give me a moment, and I am going to call her dad and make sure that my daughter is safe with her. Here we go. Yeah, can you put on the camera? Is Monty in front of you? Is she in her car?
Monty's at home.
Oh, you already drove her home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And was she okay? She was a little shook.
Yeah, she's fine.
All right. We just wanted to make sure she wasn't followed, because they could have followed her from that store or had someone else follow her. She said that those men in particular stayed in their car, and the security lady made sure that she was not followed. But I said to her, listen, these people are very well networked, and they could have easily called someone else and given the description of your car and had you followed. So that's why I told her not to leave the store so that until you got there.
I was watching.
And make sure. Okay.
I was watching. Nobody followed us.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you drive then. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. All right. And once she gets her phone charged, I am going to make sure that she is okay. And this is something that happens every single day, and I think slipped off of our radar. Definitely mine. I'm guilty of that. Even though it was a conversation we had but a few days ago, but that's just all it was at that time. It's just a warning, a conversation, and it's something that, as a woman, is just something you speak to your young girls about. The children that you're bringing up, you just say, you have to be careful, you have to be aware of your surroundings, you have to make sure, because we are targets, because we're women, we're female, young or old. And yes, this does happen to men as well, but I have 3 girls, and at that time it was just a conversation. And now because my daughter was like, I felt weird, and everything that I told her, she just automatically made sure she looked for help, and everything that we talked about, she put into action. And I'm just happy she's safe and that at least her dad was able to go get her. He had the vehicle, so I couldn't run, and I would have been there. And she says she's going to call back and make sure, see if the woman got the information on the guys. And I said we're going to have to do a police report, and we got to make sure that no one else is a victim of these guys, and hopefully we can catch them. So I just wanted to segue from that. Just reading about those kids who are dying from those diseases, but then we have to make sure that we're safe, not just from COVID-19, but from all of these things, which is ridiculous. Like, why can't human beings just treat human beings like human beings? It's part of the reason why I run for Senate as well, to make sure that I am there to help as much as I help my kids, that I can help you, I can help your children with all of this information, all of the resources. And we do have those resources on our page. My campaign team is awesome. My researcher, Mary, is awesome. And every day things are updated by my communications director, press secretary, Paul. And we just want to make sure that you have everything that you need during these times. I did try to look up, hold up a second, I've got some comments. I do apologize for going on and on and on. I'm a little unnerved. Ray, something similar happened at the Walmart in Herkimer. Yeah, and it's funny because the security woman was standing right at the door. They don't always do that unless they're watching someone and waiting for them to leave. But I think she kind of felt like something was up too, and she had her eyes on them and said, "Yeah, I see them. I know exactly who you're talking about." Yep, there's at least 3 or 4 massage parlors. Yes, Ed Smith. That really breaks my heart. How can anyone do that to someone else? It's Ray, I have absolutely no idea, but I know that people need to take their eyes off of my children because they do not want my wrath. And anyone who knows me know how I am about anybody's children, even my children's friends. They know how I am. I will fight tooth and nail for my own and yours as if they're my own. So don't mess with my children. Don't mess with their friends. Don't mess with their families. Don't do it because you don't want me coming after you at all. Because I'll find you. I'll get you. Be like Liam Neeson. I won't do like the horrible stuff, but I will get you arrested and you will be put under the jail. Definitely. Okay. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to make sure that my daughter was okay. And let you all know that these things are still happening. So let's not get too much tunnel vision, and let's look out for each other. Take care of yourselves. Be aware. They're out there. It's just really sad. Okie dokie. So I was looking for human trafficking totals, and I could not get that information at all. Let me see. New York State National Human Trafficking Hotline. I had gone to that website because I said, I don't know this, what does it say, track your state? I don't know the statistics. I used to years ago, but of course those things have changed. So let me see. 2019 statistics are current as of 6/30. 2019. So victims and survivors identified, human trafficking cases reported this year, 474 contacts this year. And I'm assuming those are either people who have been victims and who have been saved, for lack of a better term. One is enough. 200 is just too much. Way too much. There is this website is humantraffickinghotline.org/state/new-York. So you can go. There's a lot of information here on that, and I am going to be doing some studying tonight to make sure that my knowledge is updated on that, and make sure that I can be that advocate and that go-to person for resources, and make sure that we keep our children safe and ourselves safe. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about as well. Take a deep breath. yesterday during my, I'm gonna make this short. We got like 5 minutes left. I try not to go for more than half an hour. So a couple of things yesterday I did not get to really talk about, and because of our technical difficulties, and I just did a quick spot of tea. So now I have some time to really talk about this. Cloth masks. We distributed over 100 and somewhat masks in the last week or so, almost in one day, to families in need in Hamilton Hill and Schenectady. Thank you to Saratoga Sews for donating those to the efforts of myself and William Rivas of Cocoa House, and making sure that those families had what they needed. So this is what I do in my spare time. I go around and say, what do you need? What can I help you with? And I try my best to help. So campaigning doesn't stop this. It just gives me a higher platform to do it on, so that people who know me in my community services now see me as in a different light, but also as the same community activist. So I've taken my station and I've gone and asked a whole bunch of people and leaders if they can help me with masks, and this is what happened. We gave out so many last week, and we're going to do another mask distribution in Steinman's homes or near Steinman's homes this Sunday. And what I want to do with you guys is make sure that if you have reusable, washable cloth masks, that you understand how to keep those. It's if you only have one, that's okay. If you have more than one, you're in a better position, because if you use one cloth mask and you go outside, you come back, you need to take it off and wash it immediately. Just like you come back inside from outside and washing your hands, you need to do the same thing with the mask. Hang it up and dry. If you need to go back outside before that one is dry, use your second one, your spare, to cover your mouth and go outside, do what you have to do, come back in and wash that one, and then do the same thing. If you only have one, that's okay. Still do the same thing. The only problem with that is that you would have to wait for that one to dry before you go outside again. And we weren't given this information out. We haven't been in this situation to be like, oh yeah, remember last time, let's make sure we do this, because there was no last time. So one of a friend of mine, Angelina, she has rare disease. I wouldn't say rare disease. She has rare disorders, which she has to wear a respirator or a mask with a little respirator most of the time that she's in contact with other human beings. So she kind of commented this on one of our posts, and I said, oh my gosh, duh. And I said, yeah, you're totally correct on that, and she knows this. And I was like, why weren't we telling people this? It's just, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I didn't realize that, I didn't realize until afterwards, like, that should have been something that we told people. So we're going to end up doing that. And also, a little housekeeping or self-keeping, I guess. I'm realizing that my hands are getting so dry and rough from hand sanitizers, gloves, always washing, and I'm usually always moisturizing my hands anyway because I have dry skin, but it's worse this time. So bad that it's like burning. And I think a lot of us are probably experiencing this right now. Hold on a second. Can you hold on 2 seconds? Because I am doing my live. Is everything okay with Monty?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I have to girls open the door.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And sorry, I thought he was calling me back about my daughter. So if you guys have any idea or any suggestions on what we can do with dry skin, I know Aveeno, but it smells. I'm sorry, I'm so bougie right now. But if you have any other ideas, I tried olive oil, hand butter, I think it was called. I tried that. That worked for a little bit, but something that can withstand dry skin. And I know we're all going through this, and it makes absolutely no sense right now that probably to most of you that I'm talking about this, but I think this is the thing. This is one of those effects of what we're going through. severe dry hands. And also, when you're wearing masks, I don't know about you, but my nose here tends to get a little sore. And, excuse me, I have a New York accent, but you know what I meant. And my ears behind right here tend to hurt because I wear glasses. And when I get those ones with the elastic, those masks, it tends to hurt. So I prefer the tie-up masks. So if you have any suggestions or anything, please email me at teresaforsenate@gmail.com. teresaforsenate@gmail.com. If you would like to donate to the campaign, please, the Act Blue link is probably already up there. Please do donate. It is the hardest thing, raising money and proving to other, should say the Democratic Committee, that you are a viable campaign when you're in the midst of a pandemic and you have to ask people who are suffering just almost as much, maybe more than the rest of us, please help us reach our financial goals. We are reaching the end of our financial quarter, and we really have to raise as much funds because the primary is coming up, and we got to show them that we are here to stay, and we will fight for ourselves, our families, and our communities. And Teresa will do it for you as well. So let me see. Someone's saying things. Let me see. Let's see. We're over minutes, but that's okay. This is important. I've got 4. It's my new, Ed, you've got 4 masks is your new obsession. Yes, and you know what? I want to say something about the mask too before I read the other comments. When we're giving out to families, it doesn't matter if they say they need 1 or they need 15. If you feel like you need that many, you may be getting it for friends and families, people who cannot come to the distribution. That's fine. If you need a mask, we are giving masks. We're not asking questions. We're not giving you limits. Well, I mean, if you want 200 masks, there's a limit. But if you say you need a certain amount of masks, we're there to give it to you. I think it's your own moral compass that will, have a conversation with you, or your conscience will have a conversation with you later on if you are, just taking and you don't need. All I know is that we are providing because there is a need. And if you say you need 3 masks, we're giving you 3 masks. When people say, oh, I need 2, I say, are you sure that's all you need? And they go, wait, I can get more? Yes, for anyone who's 2 or older, or above 2, I should say, we can provide for them. So if you have neighbors who can't come, an elderly neighbor, or just someone who's not aware of our distributions, please take for them. It's fine. Fill out the form and take for them, because we're trying to keep track of how many that we give out. Let me see. I work in retail and wash my hands often. I've had to use working hands. I'll try that. Working hands. So I did nursing for 6 years, and I had the same issue, but it was also because of the gloves and the powder that was inside the gloves that were irritating my hands as well. And I also learned that I was severely allergic to latex at that time. So I used to use this, I think it was Vaseline, but not the Vaseline, but it was a Vaseline lotion. And I have not been able to find it, and that used to work, but I can't find it anymore. And then I thought I did, but it wasn't the same formula. Mary says vitamin A and D ointment for your dry hands. I actually have that, and that makes sense because it's a healing ointment. Duh, I'll try that too. Anything, please. Also, if you have any questions, concerns, if we don't have the resources that you're looking for on our website, please email, email or contact us on the website, teresaforsenate.com, teresaforsenate@gmail.com. Anything that you need, just let me know. Okay? All right. We are 4 minutes past 7, and I'm so sorry to go on. I need to go let Ken inside. He's been waiting all this time for me to open the door. He knows the deal. And call my daughter and make sure that she is coming down off of that, adrenaline, and that she's okay, because she gets migraines, and I want to make sure that she doesn't have one after this. Thank you, everyone, for sitting through my call and making sure that my daughter was okay. Love y'all all, and stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, even though this is not tea for Teresa, drink tea. I think I'm gonna have a glass of wine though. I deserve it. All right, everyone. Good night.